This is how to read Jin Ping Mei Chapter 15 in the embroidery book. The beautiful lady laughs and admires the lantern tower. And the hooker helps the lichen courtyard. The storybook. The beauty laughs and admires the lantern tower. And the hooker helps the lichen courtyard. 1. The first lantern festival. Li Ping'er was so angry with her husband that she couldn't wait to visit him. She was determined to be his concubine. So she sent out a banquet on the Lantern Festival to express her friendship. On the other hand, she also secretly invited Simon King, preparing to make a huge effort. Enthusiastically throw yourself into his arms. Although everyone who went to Li Ping'er's house for the banquet had their doubts, they did not have too many precautions or thoughts about the future Liu Niang, because after all, the future was unpredictable. So it was better to simply enjoy this rare lantern festival. Wu Yunyang took a look and saw that there was a commotion downstairs, so she and Li Jiar went back to the banquet to have drinks. Only the two singers, Pan Jinlian and Meng Yulu, just leaned against the window and looked down. Wu Yunyang and Li Jiar could not sit there for long, so they went back first, and told Meng Yulu and Pan Jinlian to go back early as well. Meng Yulu agreed. But Pan Jinlian was completely immersed in this celebration and didn't hear it at all. We can understand that Pan Jinlian, who has suppressed unhappiness for more than 20 years and is dissatisfied with the world, may have found a moment of comfort and relief in this festive festival. This is the first time the Lantern Festival is described in this book, and it is relatively simple. In ancient China, the Lantern Festival was the most important festival. The main activities during the period were lantern viewing and fireworks. The lanterns themselves were gorgeous but fleeting, so the Lantern Festival was often used by literati to express the sentimentality of ups and downs. Affection. The Lantern Festival is mentioned 4 times in Jin Ping Mei, and the 3rd time is exaggerated in several words. But by the 4th Lantern Festival, the Simon family is almost broken up. 2. What happened in the brothel? Pan Jinlian didn't take Li Ping'er seriously, largely because she identified Sister Li Gui as her #1 enemy. Similarly, Sister Li Gui didn't care about Pan Jinlian anymore. Her troubles were with Li Ping'er, because Simon King was busy every night. Have an affair over the wall and forget about her in the brothel. The forgotten Pan Jinlian can still steal a boy out of boredom, while the forgotten Sister Li Gui has no choice but to drink from the northwest wind. After all, brothels also have to eat. The prostitutes didn't come to the door, so they had to bite the bullet and ask for help. Help me. Is it a favor or a favor? This is a very interesting topic. Under normal circumstances, helping people is all about helping. Why is there such a thing as bangshan? We have mentioned helping several times before, and here is a formal explanation. The history of helpers can be traced back to the diners of the 4 gentlemen of the Warring States period, who were known as roosters, dogs, and thieves. According to ancient and modern class books and seal scripts written by Chui Kunyu, helpers are stateless people, and they are also those who support prodigal sons, gamblers, and entertainers. To understand it simply, helping people means helping people when they are bored. And when they are bored, they eat, drink, whore, and gamble. Eating, drinking, whoring and gambling should not be too serious, otherwise it will lose the fun. Therefore, Simon King's helpers are called brothers and friends, although in fact they have a master-servant relationship and an employment relationship. In other words, the Earls Ying help Simon King free time by eating, drinking, whoring and gambling. So how could they help the brothel? Let's see what happened. On this day, Earl Ying and Zida accompanied Simon King to enjoy the lanterns and bumped into Sun Zizui and Zhu Xinian. The latter to complain that the first helped to play with them but did not greet them. Since we are all brothers, 2 more people know, obviously. This is unknowingly blaming. Earl Ying did not say anything, and Simon King took the initiative to help cover it up. I just met them. At this time, Zhu Xinian made his true intention clear. Please tell me. He took Simon King to Sister Li Gui's house in Lichen Court. After arriving, Zhu Xinian immediately shouted loudly, "Please come out quickly. It's thanks to all of us that we have invited high-ranking officials here today." This illustrates at least 2 things. First, There are different levels of helpers around Simon King. This is not a matter of the ranking of the 10 brothers, but to completely different levels. With Earl Ying here, Sun and Zhu cannot stand at all beside Simon King. Secondly, the moment Zhu Xinian entered the brothel, he was claiming credit. Why do you say that? Let's compare it to Chapter 8 and we'll find out. At that time, Pan Jinlian begged Po Wang to look for Simon King. Po Wang's first words when she brought Simon King to her home were, "Congratulations, madam. It's a shame for me, in less than half an hour, I invited the high official to come." Exactly the same, right? Remember, the price or reward Pan Jinlian paid was a hairpin. Therefore, it is conceivable that the brothel will definitely pay Zhu Xinian and Sun Zizui. We can even speculate further regarding Sister Liga's agency fee. We should start from the first episode. Do you remember what Earl Ying said at the beginning? Yesterday, at Li's house in the courtyard, I saw a child. This is not only an advertisement for the brothel, but also a pimp for Simon King. It not only helps the brothel find a good child, but also helps Simon King find a good fan. He won a few months of free meals and drinks for himself. From then on, Simon King not only groomed Sister Li Gui, but also supported her with 20 taels of silver a month. Not to mention the various expenses he often spent in brothels. However, since Simon King hooked up with Li Pinger, he listened to Pan Jinlian's words and stopped going to the brothel. So the brothel had to find a helper to take action and drag Simon King back. Why did they find Sun and Zhu instead of how about directly contacting Ying and Z? Perhaps it was because Ying and Z had high status around Simon King and the price they asked for was high, while the cost of asking Sun and Zhu for help was smaller. Probably since then, the Li family of the brothel has been cooperating with Sun and Zhu. After the 30th chapter of Simon King's official appointment, and it was no longer convenient to go to the brothel, Sun and Zhu turned to Sister Li Gui to find a new customer, the fledgling Wang Sangwan. Going one step further, why do brothels have to ask gangsters for help? Can't they just ask Simon King directly? This question is also quite interesting. The reason why they cannot take care of both can be roughly compared with manufacturers and dealers. Few manufacturers can be their own dealers, because dealers are technical activities in different fields. When it comes to selling prostitutes to clients, there are also dealers. Although the brothels also have some jier and yuanch to help them, their status is too low and their abilities are limited. They cannot directly talk to high-end customers, wealthy businessmen like Simon King, and can only rely on the help of others. The Count and his ilk appear to be high-status gangsters intermediaries who help. Being a helper may seem easy, but it is actually very technical. We have already experienced Earl Ying's eloquence before. This is far beyond the reach of Shameless and requires profound knowledge and experience. Precisely because the Earls Ying can get as close to Simon King as possible. They can sell Sister Li Gui to Simon King. And they may also sell Wu Yin'er to Simon King. Back at the banquet table, the waiters joked about the Li family, saying that Simon King recently met a stunning cousin and only walked there every day, not thinking about your sister Gui. Or said, a high-ranking official recently invited Huarge's cousin Wu Yin'er from the back alley. All have similar meanings. Because Wu Yin'er was kept by Hua Zixu during his lifetime, so she can also be a metaphor for Simon King seducing Li Pinger here. After Hua Zixu's death, if Simon King turns to Wu Yin'er and abandons Sister Li Gui, it will be a great loss to the Li family. This book back at the end. When Simon King left, the Li family brothel was really worried and sent people to follow him to see if he was going to find Wu Yin'er. Many times later in the article, Sister Li Gui had a falling out with Simon King because of picking up other guests. But in the end it was Count Ying who coincidentally reconciled the situation. Therefore, although the brothels look down on these helpers, saying that they only chew people for free, they dare not really offend them, and even have to rely on them at critical times. In addition, this chapter also shows an unusual world, that is, the life of brothels and entertainers in an agricultural society. The art here refers to football. Let's first take a look at the introductions of several typical players in Jin Ping Mei, Simon Sing. You know everything about backgammon chess, and you know everything about playing Cuju. Earl Ying. He specializes in helping prostitutes in the third hospital of our company. He knows how to play balloons and backgammon chess pieces. He knows everything. Zida. I am idle but good at kicking the ball. Chen Jingji. The pipa, sheng, zither and flute are playing, and the projectiles are flying round to make love. Li Gongbi. Lazy to study poetry and calligraphy, good at hawks, dogs, horses, playing ball and kyuju. He often walks in Sanhua and Liangxiang. Ku means kicking, and Ju means ball. Kyuju is ancient Chinese football. Because it is made of leather on the outside and inflated on the inside, it is also called a balloon. Because it is round, it is also called kicking round or round love. There was also a football organization at that time, similar to a guild, called Yuansh. There are also some outstanding ones among them, such as Count Ying and Zi Shi. Because of their outstanding talents, they no longer need to make a living by playing football. And for example, Gao Qiu in Water Margin. When the balloons come, it's just a matter of time. He had the courage to use a mandarin duck to kick Wenwang back, and Wenwang was overjoyed. Then he showed extremely high ball control ability, like a swim bladder glued to the body, all covered with kyuju. This Wenwang also it was the later confused Emperor Song Hizong who in less than half a year promoted Gao Qiu to the position of Taiwei in the palace commander's palace. But these are just very isolated phenomena. According to the text the Son of Heaven published in the text, most of them are uneducated, indifferent to farming. But they dislike poverty and love wealth, and are vassals of the powerful. The poor are if you don't follow it, you will be envious of wealth. Just because the dandy boys are keen on kyuju, they reluctantly rely on their skills to earn rewards.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.